Now that I know your passwords, should I bet on Scottie Scheffler?
I'll just set my password. There's no weed in my account. Like weed.
Okay, so it's not just weed, is what you're saying. So it's Chargers 42069.
No.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog, the Genesis Invitational Picks, bets, one and done, plus a recap of the Waste Management Open. Geoff Fienberg on the line with me. I feel bad for you that I feel like our discussion last week talked you out of betting Thomas Dietrich, which was a bad idea. You should have bet him.
I mean, I feel good. Like I'm a peacock. Like my feathers would flap. Like I'm tired like everyone else morning after the Super Bowl, but I think it was one of the best gambling nights of my life. So I'm a peacock. And between that and NFL awards and having a good time with friends, it hurt the sting of not being on Detry. But hey, it gives me confidence to just like no, when I believe a guy's got something, like don't give up on him. And they're gonna flash big numbers. I mean, it's hard. You can't bet everyone, and you accept. Like years ago, this would have hurt a lot more, Pat. Like we've been doing this so long, like you got to accept that you're just gonna miss guys you like. Like you're gonna miss moments, and I feel like I missed a moment, but you can't dwell on it. I've had a good golf season. Wasn't you? I don't think I was on Detry at all. I don't think there was anyone other than our buddies from the Tour Junkies who even tried to twist my arm on Detry this week. So congrats to I think it was Pat, but you know I could mix it up. I think he's the only guy I saw who pre-tourneyed Detry. Past is the past. Detry's a dog.
Someone pointed out if it's a driving and putting contest, good spot to have Thomas Dietrich, but he was unflappable. Like when I was watching it on Saturday and he made the turn, it's like, all right, well, 11 and 12 are going to eat this guy up. I think he went 1 under through that stretch. I think he went 2 under through it on Sunday. Like he just, all of the wheels that we thought were going to fall off, like we normally see, not only with him, but guys of his ilk, where, you know, they have the reputation of being guys that gag it. He was up by so much, but he didn't even just, you figured he would have played, you know, I'll hit it down the middle, I'll try to hit it to 40 feet and 2-putt, but he was pretty electric, man. It was awesome to see. And Cust has already declared him on the Ryder Cup team, despite just figuring out who he was. Not realizing he's like 1 point ahead of Matt Wallace in the Ryder Cup standings right now.
Oh yeah, Cust probably thinks this guy, like we're meeting him, like we just met him last year or something. Cust probably thinks he just graduated from like PGA University. I know we've been there. We've taken our lumps. Listen, you could argue there's a course fit there with the layout that Bethpage Black. I mean, what's funny is even before he won, this is gonna be really embarrassing. I shouldn't embarrass myself like this. But part of me, even before he won and still thinking he could gag, I'm like, guys like Detry and Cam Young, who like are both losers, might be really good for Bethpage, but you're gonna have to win. Like, you know, match play. I was like just trying to make a case for myself that they don't have to be winners to be good at match play. And then good for Detry, he wins. You know, I'm expecting him to have a nice season. There's always spots open at the back end of Europe. For as hard as they are at the top, there are always spots available on that back part of the team. So he's absolutely in the mix. It's been a great start for Luke Donald and the boys. Like you even see Bobby Mack playing some great golf. So a lot of great golf from Team Europe early. I'm already in on plus 150. I don't think it's going to get better. It might, you know, but I'm like, it's like one of my favorite teams now. Just going to throw that out there. So now it's like a full bias. When we started this podcast 10 years ago, I was like neutral. I have a hard bias. Now, I don't know where Detry was a dog. In the past, Pat, he missed those par putts and then would like unravel a bit, but none of the guys in the final two groups pushed that hard. Rasmus for a little.
Speed
was on
for a
him.
little.
Was yep. So he didn't get like a total push. He got a cruise, but you mentioned it. He made the putts. He went after the pins. It was a beautiful performance. Anyone who watches golf like felt we should have seen this before, and we didn't want to bet him because he lacked dog. The embarrassing thing for me though is not that I didn't bet Detry. And if I didn't, I bet the future, and it was so stupid. I bet the future on a guy who I think has less dog than Detry, despite having won a half decent tournament once in a lifetime, in Ben Ann. Like, that's where, like, I bet Ben Ann, but not Detry. And then that fucking guy goes on Twitter. That'd be like, guys, I just realized I'm fat. You've been watching me for a decade. I just realized I can't make a putt. Are you kidding me? The nerve.
I think he was just
Stay
trying
off
to.
the
I
internet.
think he was just trying to have some fun, Jeff.
A little too. Yeah, and then he goes out and goes DFL the next day. I don't care. Too much fun. He's always looking for a soft landing with internet fun. Good for him.
Speaking of guys,
I will. He literally couldn't make a 4-footer versus a dead guy. I will never bet him again. Ever.
Till this week. Number 1 in driving distance.
I don't listen. Maybe this will put him over the top. You were the one that made fun of Detry last week, and he won.
Actually, in fairness, if we re-roll the tape and people remember, we talked about our gutless loser power rankings, and you threw Detry into it, and I said, "Well, he's 100-1. Like, it's not like he's 65-1 like Bo Hosser. Like, he's triple digits."
Yeah, no, but I'm saying if people had to podium, I was taking like if you had to podium golf internet, like poll. Detry, like, it's not even picking on him. I stand for the guy, but I could acknowledge, like, of course, everyone would, myself included, you have to acknowledge he lacked dog. But like anything in sports, once you do now, like, it's the dumbest thing. Like, you can't do it. And then when you should have done it earlier in your career and you haven't, you'll never do it. And then once you do it, it's like, oh, yeah, I guess you can, like, always kind of do it now. It's like weird. So at least for a finite period of time. It's good for Detry. Hope he has a great year. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him at Bethpage. Pat, maybe we should do like a quarterly reports.
Yeah, I'm not prepared
We
to do
that
that
naturally, I guess.
Maybe,
I don't want to do it now.
Yeah, I'm not prepared for that today. Rory, he's on the
no, me neither. It's too early. But yeah, at some point we should do like our first quarterly report.
Well, let me ask you this.
I can't wait.
It gets down to captain's picks. You going to take Detry or you going to take Victor?
I mean, that's all like what's happening. Like, did Victor make the FedEx? Victor flashed last time. And Victor even knows. Victor knows he could play 1 or 2 great rounds. He's just not sure if he can play 4. Right? Like, it's one, like anyone out there, even the guys who suck. That's why you bet them to BFRL. There's a lot of guys who can play a great round. You know, holding it together through 4 and winning, those are different questions. But right now, I'd say Victor. Like, there's still too much equity there, and there's a season, and he just played great. But that's all relative. Like, form matters. Form will matter. If Victor is god-awful, then they'll have a decision to make.
We'll get more into, obviously, the Super Bowl. We're doing the Super Bowl recap on Tuesday evening for Wednesday morning. And then I'll be live on Wednesday morning as well with Tambo. So maybe we'll even push that one down the road a little bit more and save it. Who knows? Or we'll just get it all out at once. Just remember to subscribe, download, turn on those auto downloads so we don't miss out on those hits, because now is a very important time for the Pat Mayo experience. Now that football is over, golf is going to reign supreme, but we're not going to go away from golf all that much either, or go away from football, because we're still going to be rolling out some of those shows. You got your team power rankings to do.
Yes. I've been thinking, I thought about those a lot. The back I'd already been working on, and everything is, yeah, I mean, there should be no surprises in how it plays out, but yeah, it's team power rankings based on fans' mental headspace done by a basket case.
I wanted to bring that up because Cust isn't here to defend himself on this, but yeah, he had more weird tweets on the weekend about Scottie Scheffler. He was like taking it very personally with Scottie Scheffler. I don't quite understand it.
He is like angry that people bet into the non-Scottie market. He is offended at the respect level that people are giving Scottie Scheffler. It was very weird. It was also very weird to see Scottie combust yesterday and to see him get beaten in a round of golf by a Monday cue. But yeah, personal is probably, I had someone message me, is Cust drunk?
The answer was
like
no.
Angry.
I was with
him. The way he would tweet about but Pat, it like gave like he's yelling at the Dolphins on the internet vibes, right?
Oh, absolutely. It really made no. Like, I can get. Listen, you want to laugh at people for betting into the non-Scottie market when Scottie doesn't win? Yeah, it seems really stupid at that time. That's why we always talk about it. But to be like, I can't believe the Scottie Scheffler guy is number one in the world. Like, how is he not winning a tournament? It's like, what? It's golf.
And he also questioned like why that market even needed to exist. Well, clearly there were a lot of it existed because it tempted people to bet into it. And holy shit. He made that save on 8 incredible, and then he misses the 4-footer for birdie
and
on 9,
and then that was it for him. Like, had he have made that putt, I don't know if Dietrich loses and Scheffler wins, but it feels like Scottie just gave up after that.
Yeah, and then he hit it wide on 10, and yeah, it got hard. But absolutely, if he was 4 back heading into the eagle stretch, like the crazy run holes there, like absolutely for sure. Absolutely for sure. But that was fun. Like Scheffler and Spieth on the leaderboard. I was not one of the people. And I just made fun of Tim about like yelling at the clouds on the internet. Like I do that all the time. But you know, that Tim, it's just, you know, it's rare. And Scottie Scheffler being a target. I mean, listen, I'm making, you know, Chiefs a bit of a target, but I enjoyed that. Well, yeah, Scheffler and Spieth. Like, that's just fun. That's just fun. You wish it was closer. I was not one of the people who besmirched the tour for giving the exemption. I thought it was like red meat. When you're like a Liv Hardo, I could see how it's red meat when the PGA prides itself on meritocracy. But guess what? The guy's 31 years old. This is the first time he's ever had to use them, and he's fucking earned them. For what he's done for the sport, for what he did, the PGA Tour absolutely owes it to Jordan Spieth. Forgetting that the sponsors want them there.
Yeah, that's the part that people miss in this. It is a sponsor's exemption. So the sponsors look at it and be like, who are 4 random people we could invite to play in this tournament that would be good for our tournament? You know who I'm going to pick? Jordan Spieth and Ricky Fowler.
And you know what else that allows them to do, Pat? Like when you give them the exemption, that means they kind of feel like they owe you. So I bet you they get to do like in a normal situation, Spieth isn't doing like that. You might be able to send them to like a hospitality tent or something and meet some of your high-end corporates because you've brought them there. Like you're the only reason they're there, and they might feel like they owe you, and they'll give you some sort of make good on a you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
On that front. So, you know, obviously they'd rather interact with Spieth or Ricky Fowler, but forgetting the sponsor exemption tour, if the PGA Tour has them, I would have no problem for a time being allowing him to have them because he's fucking earned them. He's earned them. And I get it. Like I even made a joke to like a hard live guy. This was like Biden pardoning his son.
But there are no hard live guys. We found that out by the ratings this weekend.
Well, the hard ones we're watching. That's I don't
know. The one bet I won this weekend under on live viewers.
It was just
12,000. 12,000.
I don't even know what to say other than I'm really upset Trump is handing them a lifeline. Like, I wish they weren't handed a lifeline. I wish this could just run its natural fucking course.
But it doesn't. They have unlimited money. They're not going to.
I don't care.
They're not going to say we made a mistake.
What?
They're not going to say we made a mistake. They'll just keep.
I don't care.
Wasting
Let it
money
just
on
exist. I agree. I got to be able to. I bet it thinking I could watch it. Now I'm still not sure. Some people said I might have missed something. I'm capable of missing things because it can be a ski spot, but you know you'd see like North Korea on their list and not Canada.
There was an app specifically that you had to purchase in order to watch LIV, and I was talking to Tim about that last night at the Super Bowl.
That's
party.
insane.
And I said, how many people do you think actually in Canada, a nation of 44 million people, do you think went out and bought the LIV app? And I set the over under at 20.5, and he actually took the under on that.
You know, we're a country full of loser cable channels. Like, Obviously,
My
there's less now
my
than
show is this. You might be watching that, although you're on it, so they're not watching this particular show on it. But my show airs on one of these TV channels.
I like that. I'm just saying, like, we got like 10 sports channels, and one of them runs TGL reruns like it's poker. Through the week. My dad watches so much TGL, he doesn't know if he likes it, but he can't not stop at a golf swing. Like, right? It's either that or the news. Like, someone is hitting golf balls via instructional or real players or the news. So he just watches this and he's like, I don't understand it, but he likes it. Or sorry, he watches it. But it's on all day. So LIV is either saying you're not offering us enough, or they are just, I don't know. No one in Canada even cares to have it at all. And we used to get it for free on YouTube, which was amazing, Pat.
I remember. I went to go look for it on YouTube and it wasn't there.
So that was frustrating.
You know what's
Something
great? There are two things that I want to say, though. Two things that are great. One, Michael Kim coming in second. Shout out Michael Kim. Just shows that if PGA Tour players come on the Pat Mayo experience, become my friend, they can come second at the Waste Management Open. I was really like, I bet on Michael Kim every week. That's my silent bet that I have. I was like, man, if he wins this tournament, I'm going to win a lot of money. But I just feel very good for him. When you end up losing by 6 and you come in second place. Not the usual outcome of the Waste Management, something that's, I went to a playoff 6 of 9 years, a stroke or two maybe coming down the stretch. Like, we very rarely see a blowout like this in a runaway in Phoenix. But Michael Kim there, your guy Daniel Berger has a really nice week. Both those guys get themselves into the field this week for the signature event because of their standings. But the biggest story of the weekend is either A, Jordan Spieth, is he back? And the excitement level with Spieth was back. Or 2, what do you think 7 years from now, when we go back and analyze something, is more of a fugazi, as they say? Is it Patrick Mahomes' final stat line in the Super Bowl, where it's like, 3 touchdowns, 270 yards, pretty good game for Patrick Mahomes? Or Justin Thomas comes in 6th place in this tournament?
Yeah, same thing. Oh my God. That's
birdie, bogey, eagle. 6th place.
That's another guy. Good point. Good dot there. Yeah, Mahomes crushed Mahomes. I was like, who are the best the backdoor fantasy quarterbacks? Like Blake Bortles. Yeah. Mahomes had a nice Bortles-esque stat line.
But Spieth being back is great. And for as much shit as I gave Spieth, you gave Spieth, and it seems like every Spieth hater is actually kind of happy he's back.
I mean, long-standing viewers will know the Spieth trajectory might be one of my greatest calls ever. Like, if you did a segment being like, Tim, Jeff, give yourself credit for something that no one in the world has ever given you credit for, it would be calling the initial Spieth downfall when I was like on an island by myself, period. But since then, it's been nice to see him when he came back the first time, and now I haven't been anti-Spieth for years. It got to a point where I felt so bad for him. It was like hard. And now it's nice to see him do well, and I love golf, and it's nice. I would, if he won again, he's easy to root for now. He gives it, competitors welcome. So, like you said, easy to cheer for in a way that like never would have been the case, but started to be the case, I think, earlier than people think. But let's get him back. Let's see it. I'm not betting on it. Like, I will not bet on it. As long as he doesn't clip me at the line, good for him.
You don't need to bet on him to enjoy him being around, because that was another thing Tim was triggered about. That when they cut over to the CBS coverage of Waste Management, Dietrich was up by a bunch. They showed like, hey, here's what's happening on the course right now. It's like Scheffler is firing at every pin because it was on the front 9, and he was firing at every pin and sticking it to like 3 feet every single time. And here's Jordan Spieth. He's making putts from 40 feet. And Dietrich's, he's up by 5. He's finishing off his front 9. But he was mad that Dietrich wasn't the lead star. story. It's like, if there's any weekend of golf, it's a lot like the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, you have to throw things out there knowing you have a more casual audience tuning into this versus your hardcores to be like, look, we're going to tell you the guys that you know. Here, Spieth and Scheffler, they're around the lead. You know those guys. Now let us tell you about Thomas Dietrich. I thought it was shocking on Saturday. I watched a ton of the Saturday coverage on Golf Channel. They just weren't showing Scheffler, which I thought was just completely bizarre because, he wasn't playing good golf. So hence, why would you show him? Well, he's the number one player in the world. And I do think it lends some credence to the guys at the very top of the leaderboard. The final group was Michael Kim, Alex Smalley, and Dietrich on Saturday. They showed Dietrich hit a shot on a par 3, and then they showed him walk from the tee box to mark his ball on the green for 3.5 minutes. These guys are pumping the course right now. You can cut over to Scheffler, who's kind of struggling a bit, being like, hey, this is the number one player in the world. He's not playing well right now. This is how good that these guys are currently playing. Scheffler can't do shit with it. These guys are rolling. I thought that would be a nice juxtaposition, but no, they didn't want to go that route.
Fluid delivery on that juxtaposition there.
It's not. I mean, I should have said it was the justice of position, but here we are.
Yeah, you make great points. I'll be honest. Saturday didn't get to catch much. Was taking the girls out for skiing lessons and such, but that sucks. That would have driven me. That would have driven me nuts. Without a doubt.
Well, it harkens back to when they would just randomly show, and we'll get it this week. Hey, Tiger's back. We got to talk Tiger. Oh. But we're going to see, every Tiger shot, which I'm fine with. I like watching Tiger. That's.
But not only that.
That's part of the appeal of it, too. And they would do it with Phil in some circumstances. A few years back, even when Spieth was at his nadir, they would still be showing Spieth towards the back, and they still do that. I just found it strange that Scheffler wasn't afforded that at the same time. Because I don't mind it. Because it's not like you're replacing Scheffler, you're showing Scheffler, so that means we're not showing these three guys at the top. They were showing the guys at the top. In fact, they were probably showing too much of the guys at the top. We can see their shots. We don't need to see them, yucking it up with their caddies for 5 minutes. We can show other shots in between there.
And Dietrich really won, I don't want to say won the tournament, but how he started Saturday, created the cushion, and it never went away. And to your point versus Tim, Dietrich was glazed for 3-4 hours on a broadcast. There was no shortage of talking about what was happening with Thomas Dietrich. So being upset that the broadcast is giving Spieth and Scheffler attention on Super Bowl Sunday, one of which is contending, it's just so freaking weird. But that is Tim. But yeah, you nailed it on a lot of fronts with that broadcast. And again, I say this often. It's been my new thing this year. It's not that John Rahm ain't there. It's the presentation of the product. That, to me, is bigger than anyone who's teeing it up in front of 12,000 people.
I had I threw it out. I think it was on Friday because I was watching the early coverage in the featured groups when I was just running on the treadmill. So I put it on pause. Or I didn't put it on pause, but Tom Kim was on the tee, and I thought my screen had froze. And just I wasn't trying to be cute about it. I actually thought my screen had froze. And then I put it on, I paused it thinking I was playing it because it had somehow become paused. And then I got into a 5-minute thing where I couldn't figure out what was going on. Just turns out Tom Kim was just staring at the ball over it for a good 15 straight seconds. And I thought my screen had frozen.
Just a disaster.
I love it, though. I think this is good. I'm going zagging the other way with this. People collectively coming around to hate how slow Tom Kim plays. At least we have no one to root against. At least people seem to be rooting against Tom Kim now. If you root against him too much, you might have to go to LIV.
Tom Kim is essentially, my comparison at this point would be Adam Dunn. It's you hate him so much, but one out of, he does so many fun things and he's energetic and he hits so many home runs in terms of personality when things are going, being on the TG, we've seen it, President's Cup, TGL, before that is whatever. I need to explain to the people watching this. But between that, it's 9 strikeouts. As a fan of the guy, he makes it hard, but then he wins you back every time because he'll do something fun and great. Okay, yeah, I don't hate this guy. Do you hate him when you got to watch him? I thought maybe they were better this week with the time. Something of note that I found curious, only listening because I was on the radio headed to in the Uber to my Super Bowl party on the 9th hole, Pat. Højgaard's still very much in it, or maybe not at that point.
Yeah, he had made the bogey on 8 at that
Oh
point.
yeah, and then he had the luck sat, and you said like what happened yesterday is what you warned me about before I bet him. It was a great run, and if I'm a smart better, like our friend Sky or other people, like I found money. They probably found ways to make money on Højgaard. I just, I'm a win only guy. But he started spraying it. You told me you're going to bet him, Fienberg. You're going to be in native area, like all over the map. And he got so lucky on that one hole. And then he hit the monster putt where he like probably should have gone out of bounds and came away with birdie. And you're like, oh, maybe he'll catch him. But on 9, sorry. I'm going to be quick now. The broadcast, the radio was like, he was so frustrated on 9. He hit at a turn. Guys were, and they weren't playing slow. The broadcast, I don't even understand what just happened. Detry and Berger were not playing slow. Højgaard must have just been so frustrated on the fairway on 9. He hit at a turn, and he hit a shitty shot, and he ended up bogeying the hole. So obviously, I don't know if the broadcast caught that. It's really minor, but obviously he was like spinning in his own head to do something like that. And the broadcast mentioned like no one's playing slow here. Like that was very weird. Detry and Berger are pretty quick fucking players. But he was frustrated and he did not have a fun afternoon.
Feel like we're being set up to lose money on Daniel Berger now.
I mean,
Honda's coming
to Florida.
Honda's coming in 2 weeks.
Gonna be 18-1 there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? A guy like Boogs is he was 150 pre, right? Maybe a little lower, but I saw like when we did the show last week, 150. And you lose the number, you don't get the win. Those are frustrating. Those are frustrating. So yeah, and then we're going to Florida. So you said it. Honda. When is Honda? Honda's after this one, right?
Yeah, so no, Mexico's in between. So I'll actually be on vacation during the Honda, but I'm bringing my gear with me so we can do the show on that Monday.
Yeah, we love
PGA.
We love that tournament too much. I don't know if it's still like the spicy Euro event that it used to be why I loved it so much, or international, I guess I should say.
It's just,
but I still love it.
It's just kind of a non-thing. You know what's curious? I think it's been 6 tournaments so far this season. 1 American winner, and it's Harris English.
I mean, like, that's fascinating, but what am I like?
I just thought it was strange. Like normally, you have the majority of players are American that you think that they would be winning in America, and right now that they're not. So we had Hideki, President's Cup guy. We had Nick Taylor, who was left off the President's Cup team, and he was battling with Nico, who was not also on the President's Cup team, but 2 international players. Sepp, a Ryder Cupper, ends up winning the American Express. Harris ends up winning at Torrey. And then Pebble Beach is Rory, a Ryder Cupper. And this week we have lock, stock, and 2 smoking Ryder Cup appearances for Dietrich, according to Cust. Can't be left off the team now.
Was Cust, I don't want, like, again, we'll do a quarterly soon, but was Cust, like, naming the guys on the team, or he was just like...
No, he's like, I don't see
I've watched this guy golf for 12 minutes, he's going to make the Ryder Cup team.
Yes, and he might be right. Maybe Dietrich does make the Ryder Cup team, but he has a win. How could you leave him off? It's like, there's a lot of guys who win, man. I was like, who are you leaving off? Hatton or Dietrich? He's like, well, I don't know how Hatton's playing right now. I was like, Hatton's playing great right now. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And Tim, he probably had like LIV tweets drafted about how great it is, how much he's enjoying it. Him going like nuclear silence on LIV after he talked about it being the biggest event in golf in our lifetime, LIV Under the Lights.
I couldn't watch it here, but like once I couldn't watch it, I checked in at the leaderboard because I bet McKibben, who was like kind of in it. Then Moronk ended up winning, but like I didn't see 1 second of it. Not one. I saw a Moronk putt. That was it on Twitter.
I didn't see. Maybe like a Twitter highlight, but like I said, I didn't see it.
It's somehow.
If I could have seen it, I would have wanted to watch it. I wanted to see Under the Lights. I thought that was interesting. Honestly, it's an easy dot to connect after the fact, but Moronk's a young guy and he lives in the Middle East, Pat. And he probably like the only guys that ever know night golf are Middle East guys. So mean, like after the fact, it's an easy cap, but fuck. Yeah. I mean, I didn't even bet. In the end, I didn't even bet it. I was just done because I didn't even know what to make of the variable. Had I knew I couldn't have watched it, I for sure couldn't bet it. But I thought I'd just watch it, maybe bet live. In the end, nothing. So good, whatever.
It seemed weird to me that it somehow felt less important, although they have this Fox deal. Now, they buried it on FS2, and I think one of the rounds was on FS1. Not that that helped me out any, but it seemed less important after going to Fox. Like, if it was still on the CW, at least I could have, like, tuned in and watched it.
Well, here's the thing. In the States, it was on. So we're like, we're a small group up, in the Great North here.
Yeah, but we're also a part of, like, did you hear anyone around, like, the golf community that we're involved in talking about LIV this week? I didn't hear a single peep about it. Usually, like, there's the few people out there, man, like, this was cool on LIV, or, like, someone always tunes in and talks about it a little bit, just nothing. Radio silence this week.
It was pretty, okay, I will give you that. It was pretty radio silence. I'm pretty apologetic for the PGA in football season when it's radio silence. So don't want to be totally like, a hypocrite to say that, LIV isn't eluded the same grace playing on Super Bowl weekend in the sporting landscape, radio silence. I feel like the only debate I saw talking about LIV on the internet this weekend was that Legion 13 is just too stacked and the league is probably already over.
I would not disagree with that statement, by the way. Legion 13 is stacked, and it's kind of
They're like
unfair.
the Dodgers. Like, it's just not even in the concept of trying to maybe have, when it's all, I don't want to say the results are fixed, but it's all this like fixed charade. They haven't done a good job like balancing anything, and they've allowed this Legion 13 powerhouse to run away, and I don't know who possibly can stop them. Torque? Like, does Mito even exist anymore? That just randomly came in my head.
He was third last in this tournament. He finished behind Anthony Kim on LIV this week. It's tough.
Yeah,
seeing.
I mean, if that ball doesn't go into the creek, who knows where he is. Trying to think if I have anything else.
Haotong's putt on 18 to win over in Qatar was awesome. And he had like an emotional breakdown. Feel good, man. Poor Haotong. I feel like his career got cursed when Cust found out who he was at the PGA Championship that time.
Yeah. Legend. Like truly a legend in the space. The mom going in the river to the swamp to, grab the club. Maybe T5 all-time moment since we've been doing a podcast. Ollie a couple weeks ago, Haotong, like there've been a lot of nice worldwide stories, that warm the golf soul. And I appreciated that breakdown. That golf is it's a mind fuck. And, great for him. Great for him. I had a lot of messages from Cam who had the other guy, I guess, the Dane.
The Danish
second.
guy? Yeah. Cam, I think after the Eagles got that blowout, I think Cam had a good weekend. That's just my guess.
Yeah, and he had, like Cam too, he had some of those alt lines. So yeah, Cam should be happy. And I have an alarm in my phone because I will not forget to message Cam this week to play some bets for the hundo that I owe him. Because I felt bad last week once golf started and I saw your preview show, just seeing Cam reminded me. So I've got an alarm on my phone for tomorrow to message Cam to be like, let's make some golf bets. And I guess maybe me and you should do that too.
Yes. I mean, I have none in so far. I know that you have some in. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we move on to Torrey Pines again for the second time in 3 weeks is some of the weird exemptions that are going on right now that they actually did throw a lifeline to LIV. And there's other LIV news. Do you know Dustin Johnson and TaylorMade have parted ways? They've been together since 2007.
I mean, yeah, I'll say this. It's just an example. It wouldn't happen if he was playing on the PGA Tour. Not that he doesn't have the money, but he's playing in front of 12,000 people, and golfers don't move the equipment needle anymore. So maybe you think there could be like a legacy contract there because of how important he's been for the brand. I'm sure lots of people bought drivers and equipment in 2017 wanting to, do what DJ does, just different. He doesn't put himself out there. Like he He's not on the internet. He's not like doing social media. Where do you see him? Where do you even see him hit a club? So I can't hate on TaylorMade for something like that. Ricky got this legacy Puma thing because he's still on TV. He's fucking in camo.
That was I totally forgot. Listen, as much as like the leisure wear Jason Day outfit that he's wearing, that some people like, I think it's just a travesty. That's like what I wear. Like if I've eaten too much, I could be wearing that right now. I ate so much goddamn salt last night that I feel like that's what I should be wearing today and like laying down on a couch, not going to play golf. That Ricky camo outfit may have been the biggest disgrace I've ever seen on a golf course. It was awful. It was worse than Tom Brady's tuck on his T-shirt when he walked out for the Lady Gaga song. Why did Tom Brady look like I saw a bunch of Matthew McConaughey commercials, so maybe this is why it was in my mind. Tom Brady looked like he was auditioning for a remake of Dallas Buyers Club.
I know it won't be the case. I can only hope it's the last football game he will ever call. And it's not because I think he's bad at that job. It's because he's got another. And it bothers me. It bothers me that people think I'm a man yelling at a cloud and that the conflict of interest is overrated. Yeah, man.
So
fucking president of the de facto he doesn't have the title. He runs the fucking thing. He runs it in the de facto president without the title. If he had the title, he couldn't do the Fox job, so he could just do the job without the fucking title. Bullshit. I didn't even see the halftime show. I'm outside getting air.
No. That was beforehand. That was before the event started. It was him and Michael Strahan.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it on the internet. I'm with you, and this is coming from the guy, the sweatsuit guy. My first instinct was like, that's bold, and I'm gonna like ruffle feathers at my club by like doing it. But then at my heart of hearts, it was like, you know what? It's too low. I have like too much respect for my property, not mine, for my club, to do that. Like, I think it's pretty low grade to rock like fat man sweatsuit on the PGA Tour. I love everything that Malbon does. I thought the vest at the Masters was too loud and unacceptable. That was my opinion.
I don't care that it's nothing to me that he shouldn't be wearing it on a golf course. That part I don't care about, like the etiquette portion. I think it looks stupid.
Oh, I'm more of like the etiquette and like, let's shrink the game, not grow the game by letting people like do that. Like, no, you got to, I am a slob, but I clean up nice when it's time to clean up nice. So, I don't think that should be. I really hope that doesn't stick. And I don't even mean too loud because, people have worn insanely loud things at the Masters, but for some reason, like, they'll let you be really loud with floral print, but just not whatever he did last year. And I didn't disagree with that. And that sweatpant suit, I would like to own it for myself, but like not to golf.
It feels like it would be
I don't
hot.
think
feels like it would be hot.
I don't know, but they're doing some awesome, some of their some of their shirts, they're so nice. This time of year I could maybe afford some Malbon the way things have been going, but still hard to get even at those prices. Everything just sells out. Whatever they did, it clicked because they've got like the zeitgeist of people who can afford it. Like they flock for that shit.
So
flock for it.
Are you gonna get Ricky's camo suit?
No, that's buddy. I've never. One thing that the only camo I wear is Chargers salute the troops. Like NFL hoodies. That's the only thing. That's the only camo I have. Which I still say, when you go to road games, I love to wear my like military support the troops hoodie because it's just like, bro, like I'm here supporting my team, but we all support the troops. Okay, let's just keep it civil, right? Cool. That's just if you're going to a hostile road game, just wear your support the troops gear.
The RNA confirms direct pathway for LIV golfers into the Open Championship this year. The leading player not already exempt inside the top 5 of the LIV individual standings after Dallas will get a spot at Portrush, and 3 spots into the Open will be available at the International Series in Macau, the Asian Tour event that takes place the week after Singapore. So guys from LIV might choose to play into that if they're not already qualified for the Open. I thought that was interesting because it seemed like we saw that the PGA Championship handed out some invites. Obviously, the Masters did, but the U.S. Open actually made a pathway for LIV guys to get into. I think it's a good olive branch for that because I don't want to see guys that I want to see not play in these tournaments.
So I think everyone has handled it well. Even the U.S. Open, they said it's one spot, and it's for pretty much the top guy who isn't in, if he's in like the top tier of the team standings. I think that's totally fair. I think that spot will be earned across the board into all these majors. And anyone else who should be there, I think, is there. In the past, they were just going with the special exemptions for guys that they felt were worthy, that were making like a at least a small effort in playing worldwide golf, seemed to be rewarded with special exemptions. But I think this is probably better. I think it's fair, warranted. I don't think it's overdoing it. I think it's right.
When you're going on a golf trip, you don't need any more stress. You don't need any more costly airline fees. With complimentary insurance, real-time tracking, and dedicated support and on-time delivery, you need to use ShipSticks.com. Just schedule your shipment, attach your label, and ShipSticks handles the rest, delivering your gear directly to your destination. You don't want to have to worry about a connection, whether your clubs are going to make it and you're racing to the course. No, your clubs are going to be there. ShipSticks offers white glove shipping for golf clubs and luggage. Travel worldwide without luggage. ShipSticks delivers to 180 countries for a hassle-free, gear-free journey. Right now, ShipSticks is offering my listeners 20% off your first shipment when you go to shipsticks.com and use the code PatMayo. Go to shipsticks.com and use the code PatMayo to get 20% off your first shipment and save yourself the hassle this golf season. That's shipsticks.com. Make sure to use code PatMayo so they know that I sent you. Welcome to the TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf with 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. Monday, February 17th, triple header time. Atlanta versus LA, Atlanta versus the Bay, and the Bay versus Boston. Then Tuesday, it's Tiger and Jupiter against the New York Golf Club. Tune in to TGL matches only on ESPN, ESPN2, and ESPN Plus. Keep up. It's golf. Let's move to the Genesis Invitational Tigers Tournament. Tiger is playing in this tournament. You know what? The first thing I did this morning was not scroll down to see what Tiger's odds are. He's 250 to 1 to win this tournament. I am not betting on Tiger Woods. Are you?
No. I'm curious what the fair head-to-head is, though. I'm curious what they do with that.
It's like him versus Nick Dunlap or Adam Hadwin or Eric Cole via the odds. And I'd probably take all those guys over him.
I feel like Cole played pretty decent here a couple weeks ago, but I think might even be a worse golfer. Actually, there's not many worse golf. You'll have to lay the juice. Yeah, they'll have to give you a line.
You know what's
short field.
You know what's crazy to look at? So Danny List is last. He's 400 to 1 in this field right now. He's the guy who won the Charlie Sifford something exemption, I think.
Yeah,
like there's the AG, I forget what the name of the tour is. I think it's like the All Black Tour.
And it's like the Tiger event exemption.
Yeah, like Willie Mack usually gets this spot because he's usually like the guy who wins all these. Danny List is the one. So if you're wondering who Danny List was, as I was, I had to go look into it. He's 4,000 to 1. So let's take him off the board. He's last in odds. Do you know who's second last in odds?
I don't scroll there. I think 30 of these guys can't even win. So I didn't scroll to 31.
The guy who won this tournament at Torrey Pines 2 years ago, Mathieu Pavon. Thought that was strange.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He was decent at Pebble, maybe?
No,
this week he was fine. Yeah, I don't think I will go out. I will go out on a limb that I would rather bet Matthew Pavon than some guys ahead of him. I would trust him more. I'm surprised by that.
Yeah,
But I guess I should open it up and be prepared and be staring at it.
I thought it was strange too. Chris Kirk is WD from this tournament. I just saw that pop up. I believe that Mark Hubbard has taken his spot in the field. Yeah, Mark Hubbard replaces him, and Daniel Berger and our guy Michael Kim got themselves into this tournament through the Aeon swing that bumped Lee Hodges and Justin Lauer from the tournament. They fell out of it, but we look at the top. I guess we should say we're at Torrey Pines. Hideki won this last year, but it was at Riviera. Obviously, they're not playing Riviera. We just saw 3 rounds from this tournament 2 weeks ago when Harris English ended up winning. Now, normally, it's a big-time Bombers course. I talked about this on the research show, but Harris English was able to iron and really putt his way to victory. In fact, 3 of the top 5, I think, on the leaderboard did not finish above the field average in driving distance, which is a real outlier. It happens sometimes at Torrey Pines South, and usually when it plays a bit more difficult. I do think that's a bit more out the window this time around, now that we have like the higher class of big bombers. Like we have Rory and Ludwig. I mean, Ludwig played last time. We have Rory and Thomas and, Cantlay and like all these guys playing this week, where last time it was like Aldrich Pottinger was like the big bomber we had to go with.
I agree with everything you said. I don't care how it played 2 weeks ago. The guys are here. I'm going to go with what I know this place is when the best players come together here.
So
my profile isn't changing, and I don't think there'll be any surprises with the winner.
Did you see if there's a cut line for this? I couldn't find the information on it. There was last year, and I thought that there always was going to be. Let's see, the cut line for the Genesis Invitational is the top 50 players after K. That's what it was last year. I'm hoping that holds true, but sometimes when you Google and AI gives you the information, it could be from like 3 years ago, so you never really know.
I gave a friend bad information.
What?
My buddy's out in he moved out to San Diego recently, and he's gonna go, and I told him, don't worry, Tiger will play the weekend. There's no cut.
I'm unconfirmed on that. I think that there is a cut.
I think you're right, and I'll tell you why. Because when this elevated event shit started that we all hate, Tiger was on our side, and he was like, no cut. That's bullshit. My event is gonna have a cut. So Pat, you are absolutely right. There is a cut. I guarantee you there's a cut. Unless he changed it because he's playing. He's demanded a cut. He's demanded the cut. He said no cut is Fugazi. I need a cut. And the PGA said, okay, your event can have a cut. We got a cut.
Top of the.
If I'm wrong, I'll donate $1,000 to charity.
Okay, that's a hefty. Why don't you donate $1,000 to? That'll be some sort of prize that will fly someone in for the live show that we're doing on June 7th.
Sure, done. I will. Yeah, sure. $1,000.
That'll be Tim.
You can
Tim's
find the
winner.
cheapest flight, and you can keep a little. If there's extra cash, keep it. Sure, but there's a cut, and now we'll have to run a different contest. There better be a cut. Oh fuck! Won a lot last night, but I won't give away 1,000.
Yeah, that's just really getting too fired up after winning too much money. Everyone takes. I assume that's what Cam's like. I've never been around Cam when he's won a lot of money at one time. I feel like he's very generous with the winnings.
Yes, and if you've ever been around Cam, you're either at like one of those degenerate sports bars that have like horse betting kiosks, or you're at work. At his office, like the company got him the horse betting channel where you had the tracks from everywhere, and another channel that showed you odds from the tote boards from everywhere, and those were on beside his desk 24/7. He'd be playing the ponies, and he'd hit these bets, and it was like pizza. He'd like be buying lunch or buying drinks at the bar, and like guys like me and Pizzola would always be like, Cam, like we watched you lose like every bet for 2 days, like you're not up money. He did not fucking care. Cam is a hoot. So didn't mean to throw Cam. Cam's probably having, like you said, Cam's probably very happy today. I don't know where we are, but I offered $1,000 if there's no cut. Okay, whatever. I will swallow it. and we'll get a fan here. So there.
Scottie and Rory are the two top in odds. Scottie is 4-1. Rory is 7.5-1. I was thinking about just betting Scottie. I think I saw enough. And once he missed that 2-foot putt on 9, it just derailed his whole round. I think this is the perfect course for this iteration of Scottie Scheffler. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get there at 4-1, but that's why I haven't made any other bets so far. That I looked at the entire board. It's I just think Scheffler's going to win.
Okay. I'd follow that up with a bet I haven't made, but probably can't because I've made 2 already. But if I wanted to, could expose it. I'd argue Rory. Honestly, he's in form. You think this place should suit him beautifully well.
Rory's never won here, and Rory used to play this one all the time.
I'd have if someone told me they're loading Rory this week, I'd rather bet Rory than Scottie.
Because he just won?
I think if Rory's in the bag, I think this is Rory's in the zone. I think this is a great place for him. He's always, Pat, in the past when he always played here, it was right out of coming from the Middle East. He'd even acknowledge it was literally, he didn't play Hawaii in the past. It was, he put his feet down in the States and he'd show up at Torrey Pines. Really, I don't want to say not fully invested, but that's the narrative I'll go with. And I'll make an excuse for his history here. This should be an ideal Rory track. He's playing great golf right now. If you're asking me which of those two I'd rather bet Rory.
Okay, and I'll be on Team Scheffler this week in just the head-to-head. I mean, he is favored over Rory, so that makes a lot of sense.
And I'm not committing to making a head-to-head bet on that either.
Well, what do you think the winning score is this week? Because I think that has a lot to do with it. Just go back and take a look at the tournaments that Rory wins. If he's not getting to 20 under, it's going to be tough for Rory.
What was the winning score at Pebble? I know that's probably not a fair comp, but
20 under? Isn't that what he got to? 21 under?
Yeah.
And Scottie wins these -10, -8 tournaments. He's better at those tournaments. By and large.
So is Rory.
No, he's not.
Yeah, Rory doesn't win high-scoring tournaments.
He doesn't. He wins low-scoring tournaments.
No, when it's tough. Those are
That's the Scottie jam.
Well, obviously Scottie is better than Rory. I'm not even making that case. But I believe sorry. Yes. I'm looking at it. Yes. Sorry.
So the last time
Rory does not like it. When it plays tough, Rory's usually he supports the birdie parties.
Yeah, and listen, he comes second at a lot of difficult courses. I want to take that away from him. The last time that he won a higher scoring event was the 2021 Wells Fargo Championship at Quail Hollow, where he beat Answer by his stroke at -10. His wins on the PGA Tour, at least, -21, -17, -25, -15, -17, -21, -25, -19. Those are generally the tournaments that he does really well at. Now, obviously, he was at the very end of the U.S. Open last year too, which was a very difficult course. But in my mind, I always find it's easier for Scottie to win a tournament that's -8 than it is for him that is -23, because if it's -23, someone with a hot putter can catch him, and at least his tee to green game can take over. His tee to green wasn't all that sharp in Phoenix. He was a lot of hit or miss, but I think I saw enough out of what he's still, that high upside that he's able to flash. I think we got saved a little bit with this number, because when I did the research show, DraftKings had its odds out already, and he was +350. So he actually got worse after Sunday, and I know that the finish wasn't good. He came T25, but watching him on that front nine, it's oh God. He might shoot 59 today if he keeps this up. Like I said, that one putt broke his back, and it felt like he knew that he needed birdie on every single hole to give himself a chance, and when he didn't make it there, he was just fuck it. That's how it felt to me. I could be completely off with that.
And you're absolutely right, Pat, in the sense that
with what? Tell me what I'm right about, please.
No, I'll tell you what you're right about. The other thing's irrelevant. You're absolutely right in that, listen, Scottie, you've seen Scottie for 2 weeks. You've seen enough. He's playing 3 in a row. He's clearly healthy. I can't argue against that either. Nope, the engine is revved, and now you're prepared to step in on a course that absolutely suits him. I'm not arguing that at all. If I had to pick him or Rory to win, I feel like I'd take the double the odds for Rory, or almost double.
So I just ran, the odds are all the stats are updated right now at fantasynational.com, fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself the 20% off. I just dropped my pen. I just ran my Torrey Pines model on only difficult courses over the past 50 rounds, and it should be no shocker. Scottie's 1, Rory's 2. Do you know who the rest of the top 10 are, just in that particular one?
No. So
Let's play like a Family Feud style game here. Who are the 10 that we're going with? Scottie's 1, Rory's 2. Who are the next 8?
in this field.
In this field. Well, it's all the good players. Yeah, so yeah.
Ludwig?
Ludwig is number 10. You got one.
Hideki?
Hideki's number 11. You are wrong.
Sungjae?
Sungjae is number 14. You're missing a lot of like goobers you like because it's past 50 rounds. So not guys that have been like great lately, but you love.
Okay, so Corey Connors?
No, it's like Finau, Hovland, Fleetwood. They're all up there.
Yeah, and Will Zalatoris might be in there.
Oh
too?
yeah, Willie Z is number 8. Cantlay is number 3.
Okay, yeah, makes a lot of sense.
I've
lost a lot of money at this golf course. I still love it.
See, strokes gained total per round on difficult courses over the last 50 rounds, just overall total. Scottie is almost a stroke better than Rory, who's number 2. So it's Scheffler, then Rory, but Scheffler just dominates hard courses. But do you think it's going to play? I guess my question is, what do you think the final score is going to be? Is the Torrey Pines South going to play incredibly difficult like we just saw it, or do you think it's going to be fine?
Sorry. I think it's going to play fine. I wouldn't say incredibly difficult. I don't know what the wind's going to do. And I obviously saw me a minute or two ago get rattled by something on my phone. And I'm so stupid. I said a course hasn't been kind to me. I hit a fucking 110 winner there at this exact course 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
But,
Yeah, what were you
so
talking
I should shut up now. Shut up now. I'm not expecting it to play too hard, but you never know. Like, they got this late setup, and they might really want to fuck with these guys this week.
So that's where I was leaning on this as well. I tried to equate it to what we saw at Workday at Memorial that time, and then Memorial the next week. Remember how different those two tournaments were?
Yeah, and that was almost because Jack was, like, pissed. Jack did not like what happened at Memorial. He did not at the Workday. He did not like the Memorial being shown like that, and he 10x'd it for the other one. I can't see that happening, but I could see them being like, no, our litmus test for this field will be different than that field, and we're going to try to do that. Obviously, they had the announcement up before, so I mean, yeah, you could be right. They've probably let a lot of places grow out that they normally maybe wouldn't have for what's become of the current status. Like, it's a full event South Field. So, oh my God, what am I, like, still drunk or something?
So winds on Thursday look like they're up to 21 miles per hour right now. And then it's like 10 to 15 on Friday. And then there's very little wind expected over the weekend. Although it's on the coast, shit happens with the weather. Do you know who the bet of the week is that everyone has already bet? Now I see him at 30 to 1.
What?
Pendrith. Everyone has bet Pendrith.
Well, FD's got a 50 still.
Do they? Okay.
I think, unless it moved. That was one of my bets, though.
I would imagine.
So when I told you, would have guessed it, probably. I guess you knew it. I bet Pendrith at 50 to 1. Yeah, he's down to 45. The problem is, yeah, these are all these like newer, it's okay. I like this. You know what's gonna happen here, Pat? I'm going to invest in a loser. But what I'm going to do is he's going to suck being popular, and then people are going to hate on him, and we'll get more for the next one.
I can see it. Do you know who Tim took as the one in his one and done? Your guy.
Ludwig?
Justin Thomas.
Listen. Nothing can surprise me with this guy at this point, but I'm off. Like it's still early season, so he can get the win, but I'm just I'm gonna not be there, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go back to him at 22.
I'd rather bet Cantley at 10 more points.
I'd rather bet Hideki at 2 fewer points.
That's also a very fair point. I might rather bet Ludwig at the same points.
Like, even Hideki, like, he drove it poorly and putted poorly in Phoenix, but the approach play has been good. Like his ball striking was good even 2 weeks ago with the Farmers. That I don't know if 20-1 is the number I want to bet on him, but I just think he's playing some pretty good golf right now, and obviously he already has the win this year. It's just he's still lurking around. He's just not getting all 4 facets of his game together at the same time. The one, like, I mean, I'm
playing
still
a ton.
He is playing a ton, which is really strange, isn't it, for a guy who's always hurt?
But I think it's a good sign. Like he must feel great. Like physically, he must feel like $1,000,000. Watch him withdraw a neck injury report Thursday morning. I'm sorry. But I take it as a sign of he feels like a horse in great condition. That is what I take from it. If he's playing this much, Pat.
What's the best number on market you can find for Zal? This 50 is what I see right now.
Yeah, 50. I haven't bet that one. That's one that makes.
I mean, I bet it 2 weeks ago at 25-1. Obviously, the field is better, but I'm going to bet him this time. This is the course where I think that he wins, so I'm going to bet him.
Let's just see.
I might run back just a lot of the bets that I made that didn't win a few weeks ago. Like Jason Day at 35-1, it's a bit much, I think, with a very top-heavy field this time around. But there's no one that really sticks out to me. Pendrith did stick out to me when he was 50-1, not so much at 30-1.
Well, I don't want to offend Tim right now.
Why not?
But I'm looking at, Pat, a without Rory and Scottie market.
Okay, what's Zal on that? 35?
33, so close.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just feel like if he's going to... It's like those Finau things over the years. Like, the only reason that I bet into that no Scottie market last week, because you said you got me the Thegawa 35, and at the time when we were talking, I had Thegawa 37 overall with Scottie, and it's like, well, I might as well just play the non-Scottie market.
Yeah.
Then a day later, he dropped in the overall market. I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Okay, yeah, to your point, it's not something I'd look to play, but if there was incredible what I felt value based on the real number, then it's something I think you would consider. Like, for example, I mean, they have a 45 on real Pendrith, but some people you said are buying Pendrith at 35, or that's what it currently is. Pendrith without in this market is 30. So if there was 35s on Pendrith, and then the other number is 30 without those two, that would be a bet that I would want to make. But I don't look to make them, and I'm in on Pendrith on 50, and I'm not going to lose 20 points. That's just not. I have made the decision. They need to I said it last week. I at least need to take a dagger in the heart before I weaken. That's just my approach.
Pendrith rates out great here, too. It's not just like the in-your-mind good form that he has coming in. Like, his skill set is perfectly tailored for this course, you'd think.
Yeah, I know, but we also noted that, before Pebble, that he's really great at the courses, the shorter courses. So, I mean, just totally becoming an absolutely lovely, lovely player. This is a big ask. This would be a big ask. I don't know if he's capable of it, but hey, I've been riding it for a few weeks. I welcome, it seems like Pat says, a lot of you are joining. If it goes horribly, you'll be more angry than me because I'm hoping to get a bigger one for next time when you're all off and you think he sucks. So that's how this works. It's like what happens, happens with a lot of players.
So there's a whole bunch of guys in this mid. So you have Scheffler and Rory, they're 4 and 7-1. Then it's Morikawa at 14, 16, whatever you can find him at. 14 I see right now. Ludwig is at 22. So is Hideki. So is Thomas. And then you're into Sungjae, Tom Kim, Cantlay, Jason Day. Like, that's the top of the board. I don't have a lot of... Like, Ludwig, yes, I do have interest in, but he's got to be healthy this time around. I mean, it's an off week for TGL. It's a bye week. And then he got back-to-back. We finally get to see the Bay back in action because there's a triple header next Monday, I think, and they play twice.
So he's I hope he's healthy. Seemed like it was a bug. Hopefully he got some rest. I'm seeing 25-1. I don't know that I could resist that. I'm really I hope he's healthy. I'm expecting him to be healthy. I think the number is fair, but I haven't. You'd think I would have bet it already at 25, because if you told me a week ago I could get it at 25, I might have already bet it, but just moving a little slower this week. I don't know how many people are running to bet him.
Do you think people will be back in on Taylor Moore after he actually had a good week? Don't forget, he closed, I believe, with an 80 here, because I had money on him 2 weeks ago.
Just sort of refresh my memory. He was in the final group with English or something?
No. Just he rallied to make the cut at the South Course. It was great. He
Oh.
ended up coming in 56. He's actually had 2 really nice tournaments in a row. He was, let's see what he was in the final round. Yeah, he was 80 in the final round. He and Thigala were both 80 in the final round at Torrey Pines. That's going to happen to a few people this week. You're like, crap, here we go. But I just don't see anyone from this middle range. I'm happy Spieth is back. I'm happy Lowry is back. Maybe Lowry is actually the play that you want to go with here. But 35-1, Finau at 40. I like Burns. I like Straka. I like Henley. I like Min Woo and Bobby Mack, and maybe even Rasmus, because you can spray it. I feel like you can spray it around Torrey a little bit more than you can in Phoenix, and you're gonna not find yourself up against a fence or behind a cactus or anything like that. That we saw Leishman do that. Remember?
He did. He sprayed. He sprayed and prayed, and Rasmus can, yeah, I could see that.
But I don't have any interest in these guys at these odds. I have interest in Zalatoris at 50, and that's basically it from this range.
Just course history, you just feel it's all slowly ticking right.
Yeah,
Really?
I wish that he would have played 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
when I
that's
had bet him and he withdrew 10 minutes before lock time. And he wasn't particularly good at Pebble Beach, but I don't expect him to be good at Pebble Beach. These are the courses I expect him to be good at. The longer, harder courses. Generally speaking, over the course of his career, these are the courses where he plays well.
You would think. On that note, like I said, I mean, I might regret it because I've pulled Pendrith at this number, but you make a strong point on Willie. I don't think Finau is that out of bounds either.
Finau at 40? Really? What has Finau done?
50. But
okay, what's Finau done?
I don't know. I just want to make a lot of the same cases you just made for Willie. It's a place where I think his game seems to work. I don't love a ton in this range. Wasn't he playing decent a week ago?
He finished T13 at Pebble, all based off chipping and putting. He missed the cut here 2 weeks ago. He missed the cut at the American Express. He's putting okay. He can't drive the ball at all right now. It's a problem here.
Sometimes these things log you out and you don't remember your fucking passwords. Unbelievable.
So
now
I like Willie, and then from that next range down, the 50. I mean, let's go 50 to the end of the board because there's very few names that we really want to talk about. I kind of like what I saw from Wyndham Clark last week.
Pat, that is my second bet.
Okay.
There is 100-1 on FanDuel. If you want me to get in on that for you,
yeah,
it doesn't come with places.
That's
so
okay. That's okay because I can bet Willie and Clark and bet Scottie. Those could be my 3 bets if I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I'm thinking Pendrith, Willie, Ludwig, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, Pendrith and Wyndham are the bets I'm in at. 100 seemed totally fair at Wyndham. He's an interesting fella, but he seems to excel in these elevated situations. There is a course fit here that we can acknowledge. Truth be told, the only thing that is kind of leaning me against him is he did something disgusting this week. Truly, I'm sure his mother was so, oh my God, his mom is dead. Please don't cut that as a clip. Just let people have that as an Easter egg. That's just really bad. I don't even want to finish this now. I feel fucking horrible.
Okay, let's move on from that. He was able to. Grazerman was the other one I was thinking about as well. But if you have you have him available at 100 right now.
Wyndham Clark's 100 win only.
All right, yeah.
Let's see what he is with. Let's see what he is. Let's just check what the number is. Sometimes there's mistakes.
He's 66 everywhere else right now.
No, I mean in the without market. Let's just check, right? Responsible, we should check because maybe it's a number that works. 65
Yeah.
in the without.
So if he's 100 right now, can you throw $25 on him for me, please?
Yeah, we'll
Thank
get
you.
that in there for you.
Yeah, and rather take him at the 100 because I probably wouldn't do the placements at 66 to 1, so I might as well bet the 100 outright.
I don't know that. I'm so fucking rattled.
What's Grazerman's number at FanDuel? They seem to have like the big odds right now.
Yeah, and they're not. Gotta find futures. Sorry, they've got all these markets. Gracerman, my fat thumb just scrolled past that. We'll get there. 100 as well. What's he at other sites?
He's 80 everywhere else. What do they have Scottie at then?
360.
Okay, so it just seems like they're giving you more numbers on the back end for these types of players who aren't going to win. And then you have the Scheffler market where it's 4 to 1 or even plus 425 in some places. Those guys are all shrunk at the back end. They're not 100, they're 80 or they're 66, but you're getting a better number at the top end.
Yeah. And then your Minwoo's 70, Cam Young 80, Connors 90, Adam Scott 90.
Oh, that's from the research show, the guy I wanted to bet, Adam Scott.
Yeah.
That's the name that kept popping up for me.
That might be a bet, eh?
Yeah.
He's been
okay.
Listen, I love what he's been about. I love he's acknowledged how much more and how dedicated he's been to the game as he's gotten older and keeping up with the kids. I so badly want him to get a win. I want the work he has put in to be rewarded. I am such a fan of this guy. He clearly separated himself from the guys his age who had who were, high-end players in their day. There's not many of them that still play at the level that this guy fucking does. And I love it. And I love him. I don't know if I trust him to win this specific tournament, and I missed your research show. I guess that'll happen to me on Super Bowl Sunday, but that's where the arrow's pointing.
Adam Scott's 44 years old. Let's not call him a geezer just yet.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Sorry. I said of the players who were once great, accomplished players who are of that age, he has maintained a level of play that seems like the others haven't.
I don't know about that. Justin Rose is still pretty competitive. They're contemporaries, aren't they?
Yeah. There's few and far between.
Well, it's funny because there's very few players in that pocket. Most of those guys I feel went to LIV.
Yeah, and now Bubba Watson is probably beside Mito on odds, Anthony Kim on odds boards.
Now, no one took a better out than Bubba did. If he knew his game was falling off a cliff, he just went and got the bag.
Respect. And you know what? I shit on LIV all the time, and sometimes I come back to say, you look at these guys who we bet on regularly on the PGA Tour who are great players who are priced at 20 to 1, 25, 30 to 1 this week, who haven't won in 4 or 5 fucking years. So and you just get paid to show up on the other one. Anyhow, your point taken. Great call for Bubba. If he knew he was damaged goods, why do I need to compete on the PGA Tour? Get mollywopped by fucking 20-year-olds.
Yeah. And what'd you say?
Owns a team.
What'd you say he got relegated and then he got put back up. What'd you say the number on Scott was?
90. What's he everywhere?
Yeah, I got 85. I can just make the bet myself.
Yeah,
I don't feel good about giving up the 5 points, but it's just easier to do it from my end.
Did you see Cam Young? I saw one of the few notes from post golf that all sort of will get lost in the Super Bowl. Cam Young was positive putting last week and still didn't T10.
I mean, he doesn't hit his iron. He's now lost with his irons 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive tournaments.
Oyves Mir.
He gained 7.4 strokes putting. That's a lot of strokes.
How bad is Connors in the fucking dumps?
I mean, he's just playing like regular Corey Connors, isn't he?
If he's playing like regular Corey Connors, he's being priced a lot higher than what they'd price regular Corey Connors at for the last year.
But you can only get so many like good Canadians. So you have to price Pendrith at the very top now because he's in form. So yeah, it's been 3 bad weeks in a row, really, for Connors. He missed the cut at Sony. He made the cut, but I think it was the worst guy on the weekend. Not your guy Ben Ann. I think it was actually Corey Connors in Phoenix, and he came in the bottom 10% of the field in Pebble. He can't putt, he can't chip. It's a problem. It's always been his problem.
Yep. Okay. I don't trust him in not great form here. He had a great little week, and the Canadian boys love it out in Scottsdale. I think that's where most of the crew.
That is something to actually look for. I think there were 5 Canadians in the field, and I think they all made the cut.
Yeah, they live. I think a few of them live out there. They really do like it. That's I don't blame them. I get like a lot of Europeans or something. I get why they would want Florida, but the Canadians, seems like the Canadian Tour pros have flocked like many others to Scottsdale. Who else was back here? Oh, like I said, my password. Maybe I'd ask you anyway if I was logged in.
Don't ask me what I think your password is, because that's a bad discussion for on air.
No, but sadly, someone, I don't want to say this, but I think Pizzola made a joke that like within 10 tries, anyone who's ever watched our shows could probably guess my like pins.
Is it Chargers 420?
No,
Capital C?
Like, okay, Pat, let's just say right now.
I know it's Junior Seau's number of some kind. Put it that way. Or
okay.
Philip Rivers.
Yeah, let's just stop. You're right. Let's continue. But can you tell me, because this is when we ride Minwoo. Did the iron show?
No.
He scored well.
No, exactly what I said would happen to Minwoo happened. He drove the ball amazingly, he chipped amazingly, and he hit his irons like me.
That's too bad because the irons looked good the week before. If you told me he hit the irons well again, I'd be in on the 70. I would be. But nope. He's got to hit the irons for me to want to get in there.
Yeah, and let's see, maybe he can scramble his way out of it. Maybe he'll putt his way out of it. You don't have to be electric with your irons at Torrey Pines. You just need to have an overall game, like a U.S. Open style game. So a lot of the guys that you were targeting last week and some of the guys that I leaned on, I wouldn't hate going back to here. But in this field where just everything is telling me Scottie, besides the 3 goobers I bet from 50 to 1 and beyond, that I just don't know how much action I'm going to have on that tier of player at those odds. Like, I've now just, you bet him for me. We Wyndham Clark at 100 to 1. I like that. Like, I think he has a better chance to win than Minwoo does. Now, Minwoo probably beats him in a head-to-head 7 out of 10 times, but that's not what we're betting here. We're betting who wins this tournament.
I agree. Wyndham Clark 100 on this sort of golf course with his ability to rise in some stronger fields. That was the first. That's a corny thing to say. That was my first click.
And his ability to putt would be, because like he's spraying the ball. He actually hit his irons pretty well in Phoenix. He chipped well. We know his short game is usually pretty good. Obviously, he won a U.S. Open in California, albeit at a much different course than we're going to see this week at Torrey Pines. But he was spraying the ball everywhere in Phoenix, and I do think that he can get away with that a little bit more here.
Do you know how much I have to think you fit a golf course to bet you the week after you wear like black pants with a dark blue top on a professional golf course with television cameras? Holy shit. If he's got a sister, or a wife, she must have reamed him out. Disgraceful. Now go win it for us, Wyndham.
And that's kind of it. Like, I'm looking from below the number. I don't see anyone else.
Sam Stevens, what's his number?
Sam Stevens like 66 to 1 or something. Something crazy like
let's
that.
See I don't know that I'd even bet him if it was 90, but because it's a huge ask, but let's just see.
He tried.
Not 90. Samuel Stevens, 90 to 1.
Yeah, listen, he made a nice run to make the cut last week. It was very impressive for him to grind down. This is a bit of a different field than he and Harris English faced last time around. But maybe it is.
Baccia 100?
Nah, this isn't the course where I want him at. Like, he just doesn't hit the ball far enough. Like Jagger, I went to Jagger last time. He sucked at this course. I would consider going back to him at 125. He bombs it. He scrambles. He really struggles putting here, which is a real issue. But I like him at harder courses by and large. I like him at driver-heavy courses, a place where you have to scramble, where greens and regulation aren't everything. He's double the number he was 2 weeks ago, albeit, again, against a better field. But that's where my mind would go of these long shot guys.
I mean, I was on Jagger for that a couple weeks ago. I thought he was a great course fit. Obviously, that was not a fun week for him. Just scrolling through.
Tiger?
How many exact guys are in the field again, did you say?
I believe it's 72.
Yeah, I think like 25 to 30 of them are not winning. So it's a 40 guy field, 42 man field. Seeing his name at 170 to 1 reminds me of that. I mean, Scottie Scheffler is just so lovely. After his round, I guess it was Friday, to talk about, and I guess it would have been a nice question, but to talk about like how great playing with Max Homa was, in the sense that like Homa is still so lovely and it's just such a great guy out there despite like nothing working for him on the golf course. And Scottie's like, I've seen guys when things aren't working and they know they're missing the weekend, they're the worst people to be out there with. He's like, not Max. Like, he's out there working on things. He doesn't get like golf sad, and he still remains a pleasure. So Scottie's a great chap. Great chap. Great dad, as Kenny Kim let us know. 170 to 1, Max Homa, Torrey Pines.
I'm seeing some enhanced out here now. Scottie Scheffler plus 420. Is that a sign? Now that I know your passwords, should I bet on Scottie Scheffler?
I'll just set my password. There's no weed in my like weed.
Okay, it's not just weed, is what you're saying. So it's Chargers 420.69.
No, no. There's no like weed innuendo, like in
That's probably
in any of
that's probably good, because I once did a friend's resume. It was probably like 15 years ago, and his
Hotmail.
It was his on his resume. It was his name, and like his contact email was his name 420@hotmail.com. I was like, you might want to get like an adult email here.
Yeah, I think I had a friend. You'd think it was me, but I swear on my life it wasn't. And I have too many of them. I mean, friends with a couple of them who might fit this. One of their Hotmails was like all for blazing at hotmail.com or something. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Even I've had embarrassing emails. I'm never promoting in my handles that I like drugs.
Yeah, not a great idea.
Oh, but also, Pat, the thing about Twitter is when Twitter started, like I was already employed at the Score. So like, let's say Twitter started when I was in high school or university, like I might have said something on Twitter that was like insane that you could like look up. But like when it started and you already have a job, like you can't say, at least I was smart enough to know, like you can't say things anymore. So I would never even have to like scrub anything, despite what like people think how crazy I am.
There we go. I'm glad I didn't bet Zalatoris earlier when my app wouldn't load. Now I can bet him at 55 to 1, Jeff. The 5 points I didn't get with Adam Scott, the universe gifted me the 5 points on Zalatoris. Now he'll be like 75 tomorrow or something. I'll be okay.
Listen, but then hey, like that site you hold out for like a day and a half and you get an
boost.
extra 30%.
Well, that's what I'm thinking about doing with Scheffler. If I can get the extra 30% on the 420 and it gets him up to like 5.5 to 1.
Scheffler holding his odds last week. He didn't. Maybe this is maybe people will.
Yeah, but you got Rory sitting right there, and you've already said it. You want to bet Rory over Scottie?
If I had to make the bet, like if it was like bet one of them to win this week, yes, I admit I would bet Rory. I don't know if that's right. And I say that I'm not betting, like I'm not certain unless you give me like a number that I loved. I'm not even looking to invest in a Rory over Scottie head to head because Scottie's floor is so fucking high that.
Hey, he just lost to a Monday Q, man, in a round.
I mean, thoughts and prayers. You think there were dudes out there who like just wanted to grease up their Super Bowl ticket with a Scottie head-to-head versus Willie Chandler?
That's why
I
you
didn't even
don't
know who
do
that
it.
guy was.
Neither did I. It was his third ever start.
Yeah, no. And then you find out he's 27 years old. It's a Monday qualifier. Like sometimes there's these kids, and I'm like, should I know about this guy? So yeah, I searched it up. He's a Georgia Bulldog. Good for him though, man. Like the bag that he gets to bring home. Oh my God. What a great story. Was the broadcast like even talking about that?
No, I don't think they mentioned it. They got rid of the Monday
guess-
qualifier, though.
I don't like, what do you, I get like, you know, their solution to slow play is getting rid of the Monday qualifier. Shorter fields. You can't have these guys. I don't feel good about that though. I don't feel good about that. I think there are other things that could be done. But the field sizes are too big. So there's a concerted effort to maybe shorten them and obviously the fucking Mondays. But that is just such an incredible charm of pro golf. At least PGA Tour golf, shouldn't say pro
Yeah,
golf.
I think the fact that you can play yourself. I mean, when was the last time we actually saw someone do it? Nasty Nate. Nasty Nate was a Monday Q, and he went wire to wire at the Rocket Mortgage in like 2020.
Yeah, it's just such but even just to get in there and I don't know. They're always lovely stories. We're so deep into golf internet, that we see some of these things like, oh, this guy finishes and now like how lovely it is and how special it is for them and their families and seeing if they're going to make the cut or something is always, something someone's focusing on. I guess I should give Ryan French his credit for the Monday Q. Like I should say, like, that's probably where I see all this content from through the week, truth be told. But it's an incredible Twitter account. Like I love it. And it's just I don't know. It's such a lovely, charming part of the tour and sad to see it go.
The hole in one, Griot, big chest bump. Love Griot. Felt good for him.
Love Griot. It was funny because, I mean, I don't know whether people were just using him as an example or he was the actual next man up, but people were like, Griot should be getting the sponsor's exemption that Spieth got.
Okay. Let's pump the brakes a little bit.
That's the point. But that's exactly. Then you're like, really? Like, this is like Emiliano Grillo. Like, my advice to him would be play marginally better to get into these fields, but don't give me Emiliano Grillo as meritocracy for keeping Jordan Spieth out of an elevated event. I was having none of that, despite that, me feeling like that was, I don't know, the point comparison. Just like we're back on, like, we didn't even mention him other than the odds from last week, but any love for Thiegs, or it's just like
he's lost something. Like even watching him in the first round, he was just airmailing all the greens. Just he's lost it for a little bit right now. It's not like he was winning anyway when he was in good form. So I'm gonna hop off a Thigala bandwagon for a little bit.
Okay, I'm not gonna keep you here long.
No,
I didn't see any of it.
Okay.
Can I ask you about the betting feed? Did you even follow up? Like, was that any
no,
good? Did people like it?
I want. Okay, so no, I don't think that people liked it. For the texts that I was getting from people were vitriolic in nature about how terrible it was. But it was, again, something just like LIV, that feed, not available in Canada, US only. I looked everywhere for it. I couldn't find it because I wanted to give it a fair shake. And like now I don't get that chance. I even texted with Kevin Clark, who did the Friday one, and he was doing it like, I believe, from the Super Bowl because he was doing a show there all week. And just, they're forced to talk about the things that, again, all they want to push is micro betting. But the thing is, people don't want to fucking micro bet on the 16th hole at golf. They want to bet on golf like we normally bet on golf. It's not like who's going to be closest to the pin, Jeff. Like that's something.
That's what I saw.
That's something that you bet when you're sitting in the stands at 16 with the other drunk people.
That's what I saw. It's like in the little complaint I saw about it, it was like, whole thing was like, oh, Will Malnati's on the tee, and it's like it's 6-1. Will he birdie this hole? And I guess that's the micro betting you're referring to. Like no one gives a fuck about like debating will Malnati birdie this hole, right?
Correct. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but all I've seen since I got into this space, especially and became, a real insider with golf betting, like people come to me for consulting on some of this stuff like this. And all I hear from executives is micro betting is where it's at. It's like when we worked at fucking fantasy and they're just like esports. Gotta get on esports. It's the biggest fucking thing in the world. Yeah, you know what? These fucking 16-year-olds don't fucking bet on it.
I'm like popping out of my chair right now because I'm not in the meetings you are in, but I swear to God, I have like for 8 years heard micro betting is the next big thing. So but it's never resonated and I've never met anyone who cares.
No, and neither have I. So it must be because micro betting is good personally. So when I'm on a golf course with you and we bet $100 who's going to be closer to the pin, yeah, that's a micro bet in a sense, but that's something that we're doing between us on something that we're doing. It's a lot different than being at home and watching a curated feed and then having to bet on this certain hole. Like I said, if I was in the stands at 16, yeah, I'd be making those bets with people. That would be fun. That would, enhance my experience. But I'm not there. I'm watching it on TV. And one of the key things that people forget about golf betting is that it is fun to bet on Will Zalatoris at 55-1 on a Monday and know my bet, sometimes it's dead immediately when he withdraws 10 minutes before the tournament. Then I get my money back at least. But that could be good for the next 6 days. That's the fun about golf betting, that I can bet $50 on this dude, maybe win $2,700 a week from now, and I'm entertained the entire time. Not trying to flip my money over. The difference between they're trying to push micro betting, and the reason that we hear micro betting is because the books want that to be something that people get interested in. I understand that. You know what's way better than raking someone once on a tournament? Raking someone 300 times on a tournament to make money. I absolutely get it. It's just I don't think it works with people sitting at home watching golf.
One day, Patrick. One day in our life. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. These fuckers, they're going to be dragged in front of Congress. I swear to God. For the crack cocaine that they are trying to feed people. And people don't we don't even want this crack. We want the other less harmful crack.
Yeah, they're basically they're like, hey, we have this crack here, but here, how about some crack with fentanyl in it? How about you want that?
And they're pushing it. Be like, you better like it. Like, oh, the people are rejecting it. Well, we're going to make them want it. We're going to shove it down their fucking gullets.
The biggest
The
biggest thing that they forget about this betting feed, and I don't begrudge the people who are on the broadcast doing it. They're talking about what they're being told to talk about. I've been in that spot too. When you're on something, it's not like that's one of the reasons why I like to be independent and do my own show, because I get to talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And if it's not that, then I don't need to. Although I'm being paid by TGL to talk about TGL. Although I do bet on TGL. It's the only way I'm winning golf bets right now. Just go LA, Bay in the triple header next Monday, you parlay them together, it's plus 625. There's a winner for you. Right there. That's how you can win on golf. Better odds than Scottie Scheffler. Just take all the good teams against the bad teams. But by and large, I don't know, having a betting feed doesn't mean that the hosts need to be making bets on every single shot. I feel like they've lost the plot on that. Part of the betting feed is to talk about what's relevant to people who are betting on it. That then becomes the better feed, doesn't it?
Yes. Not pushing the bets, but talking about what's relevant to bettors. Yeah.
Correct, which means it's probably more of a stat-based feed than anything else.
That is probably true.
Because they have one thing that they're really bad at doing, and I know that I'm guilty of this too when we think about it with doing the research show, and we're really working on it. I know that Moose now finally has the stat by stat, the shot by shot stuff. It's just really there's 3 billion shots on the PGA Tour, so to get them filed perfectly. But one of the things that we really wanted to do is you'll see Minwoo Lee is 16% putting from, or he's 74% on putts inside 6 feet. It's that's great and everything, but what is Minwoo Lee's percentage on 6-foot putts from above the hole and below the hole? That is the next level of this too. If you want to talk about micro betting, the micro stats I think are more important to this than treating every single shot like it's exactly the same for every single person. How do we get more nuanced in that? And I think that sort of stats, whether it's, it'll be good for betting probably, but I think it'd be good for the broadcast too, to be his approach shot, well, it seems like it's like the Scottie one, for example. So Scottie misses that putt on number 9. Why? Because he's above the hole. It's a very fast putt, and he just, it breaks right at the very last second and lips itself out. If he is 4 feet below the hole, that's in the middle of the cup.
Oh, of course.
So was his approach shot as good as it could have been? No, it wasn't actually.
I guess hit a little longer, didn't spin enough. He hit it long and it spun plenty, but I guess he just hit it. He hit it too long. I don't.
Like there's that part of it where you can talk about it. And I think that builds a better narrative for what we're trying to talk about betting wise. Like especially if you did want to micro bet at that point and try to get in on some live head-to-head matchups. Like I think that's a better angle for them. But like, hey, we have guys starting out on the course right now. This guy is this number. This guy is this number. But hey, he missed 3 putts from inside 5 feet or something like that. Like that's not something that normally happens to this player. Like if you wanted to jump in on the live head-to-head, he's plus 200 right now for the next 15 holes. And then we have something to track the entire day, and we can talk about that.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Or you're doing it in the morning wave, and like one of the better players is playing well. You make note that guy that's teeing off in the afternoon wave that was like 35-1 pre-tournament is now everyone's odds have gone up because of some things that have happened, or vice versa. There are a lot of conversations that you can have that are important to bettors, that are relevant to bettors. And I think you are right, but they're selling the crack cocaine with fentanyl. That is the objective of this fucking fraud, I don't want to call it a fraud, but
well, the thing is,
but
people are still lining up. If they haven't OD'd, they'll be lining up again to go buy the crack cocaine. People start doing this.
Like I've been at a baseball game with my buddy, and we'll like for the whole game be making like low stakes, like this batter, like ground, like you've got like I take ground out, you've got fly ball, and it's like right on what happens in this at bat, and like, sure, like micro bets are a thing, but you're right, you have to almost be in part of the participation, or like you said with your buddy at 16 for it to care. No real better. I mean, I guess it's like playing a slot machine. People do that, so I'm sure they're getting fiends playing those micros.
Sure. I'm with you. We used to do that for football games. Like before, like you could bet on your phone. We would just all show up with a bunch of quarters to the game that we were watching. Like, run, pass, like end of drive, field goal, touchdown, punt. Like just everyone kind of throws in. You just exchange stuff. It's something to do, as like to pass the time as you're watching it, to make it more engaging. But I just don't feel like it is engaging when you're playing it on an app and watching at home.
Right. I remember used to play this game, and you had a keypad at a restaurant. It was called QB1 at a lot of bars here in Canada. And you were playing against people, like there was a scoreboard and you got to guess the plays. It was super cool. Some people might know what I'm talking about, but this was like even before this one been like the 90s. Go watch play some QB1, try to win some free prizes.
Before we move on to the quick picks, I did want to briefly talk about that. LIV Adelaide is happening this weekend, and you wouldn't know because it'll be on FS2 again, and no one will be able to watch it. But this is the signature event on LIV, and it feels like they've moved it up in the schedule. I feel like it has less buzz than it has in any other year right now.
I would have, as long as the parents were happy in Riyadh. One of the little tykes had a good time in the playpen. Mom could catch a nap. Success. I hope it's good. I hope it's fun. I hope Hatton plays great, because I'll track him, but I don't know. If I can't watch it, I'm gonna just not give. I'll give less of a fuck. That's just the fact of life.
But this is this is supposed to be the fun one, though.
I have no doubts the people there have a great time. I have no doubts. They'll probably need an extra double-sized playpen, because they're wild out, the Aussies.
Like, do you have any interest in betting on this thing? Because I don't want to keep doing this bit if you don't actually want to talk about it.
I mean, I can look at the board. I'm so afraid of the high-end players.
Why?
And I know Moronk won last week, that I don't trust myself to guess which not high-end player would win LIV. I'll be perfectly honest.
I bet Burmeister last week. I'm betting Burmeister again this week. He's 25-1.
How much are like? What are the odds? Is it like a Saquon anytime? I know it didn't cash, but I'm just trying to think. Like Derrick Henry anytime for team wins for Legion.
I didn't
I don't
see.
even know how they price that shit.
I don't even see the team market right now, so that probably comes later in the week. I'm guessing. I'm seeing winner, top 5, top 10. That's it for the moment.
And it's a silly question. Is like Phil back or is Ollie get his starts?
That I do not know. I have not been connected to the Adam Schefter of LIV yet.
Yeah. Yeah, the Adam Schefter of LIV. Well, listen, Trump's gonna lifeline this thing.
Okay.
So
All right, I'm betting.
I don't have a
Burmeister.
bet.
Burmeister was fourth last year. Then I think they didn't let him play in that playoff. Brendan Steele won this event last year, if people remember. Burmeister was fourth last week. Sorry, Burmeister was second at this tournament last year. I just like Burmeister. I think he's good.
What's Cam Smith here?
Cam Smith is 12-1, and he has a boost up to 18 if you want to.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I hope. I have so much respect for like the top 4 that I don't want to step in front of them, and I don't want to bet on them either.
Where's old Herbert at? Maybe I'll bet him too. No, he's 22-1.
20...
No thanks. No thanks. I thought he'd be like 80-1.
Yeah, I'm seeing a 24. DJ 80.
That's a lot. I mean, no TaylorMade. He's got to make up the money somewhere else. Maybe he needs a win or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. To look at this tournament from a year ago, if you were interested in something like that, it was, where are we at here? Steele won. Louis was second. Charles was third, tied with Rahm, Ogletree, Neiman, Burmeister. And then Mito. Mito was eighth. Your boy, Mito.
I don't think we're pushing 20 guys yet.
No, I don't think so either. Let's get to the quick picks. For the Genesis Invitational, I'm flirting with betting Scottie Scheffler. So that's where I'm at right now. I bet on Zal 55. You got me the 100 on Wyndham Clark and Adam Scott at 85-1 are the 3 that I have in, and I can easily add Scheffler to that if I want to and make those my 4 for the week. What do you do? And I got Burmeister at 25-1 on LIV. You?
Yeah, so first thing I did was bet that Wyndham Clark at 100. And I saw the Penrith 50. I thought I would for sure be able to get more. As other sites posted, I clearly am not getting more. I had to swallow the 50. Penrith 50, Wyndham 100. But like I will double invest, not like the top, but I'm gonna have some big horses because it's goddamn Torrey Pines, and it's gonna be a great finish because it always is. And I know English was a little. Not as much, but when there's great players here, it's a great finish. I can't wait. I love this place. I love when great players play this place. I will be betting on a couple great players.
So one and done is interesting because we are at a signature event. This is time to use one of your studly players, and I kind of want to use Scheffler because, I mean, you use them at any of these signature events. They all pay the same. Although this is the one where so he wins at Bay Hill like every year. He's won the Masters twice in the past 3 years. He wins at Memorial every year. He's won the Players the past 2 years. Although I might bet him to win, I don't know if I want to use him as my one and done because I think I'd rather use him at one of those places.
I'm not ready to activate.
I'll use Hideki as my one and done. It was between him and Zalatoris and Scheffler.
Yeah, it's probably smart. We didn't talk about Colin at all.
No, he's in that middle tier. Like, do you want to bet him at 15-1? Yes or no?
No, like I said, you're not betting him. I'm not betting him. Anyone watching knows who he is. It's not like we need to teach anyone anything, but just of note, I'm going to take Jason Day.
Okay. And Justin Thomas for Timanda Cust will be the pick for him. You've already used Jason Day. You used him 2 weeks ago at this tournament.
Okay.
Why don't you use Pendrith? Or Rory, who you think is going to win?
I feel like Pendy's going to play a lot. Rory, spooked. I'll go with Colin.
All right, you have not used Colin Morikawa, so there you go. So Hideki, Morikawa for you, and Justin Thomas for Cust. That's going to do it on the Pat Mayo Experience. I got a hockey show coming out. Got some football shows coming. Yeah, the Four Nations Face-Off, pal.
Hold on. A hockey show?
Yeah. Hockey. We're doing that
For
hockey.
what?
Four Nations face-off.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I mean, I'm still a little bit surprised you're doing hockey, but I think that makes sense. I think that should be good. It's a mid-season tournament where the guys are in like form and it's best on best. We're missing Russia, but I think I think I'm gonna watch it. So I'm fascinated and interested. I think that could be a success. If nothing else, is better than the Fugazi thing the NBA does.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer this to an All-Star game. I know that we had spoke recently on the football show about the different All-Star games, and the NHL skills competition used to be something we all kind of loved. But that's kind of gone. This is actually way more fun. This is like a competitive tournament.
Yeah, and when it doesn't happen like in the preseason or something, like a lot of outside of the Olympics, a lot of the hockey stuff has, I think that's great. We got the best players from great hockey nations in their mid-season form. I think it should be outstanding. And I'm not even the biggest hockey guy, but I'm gonna I'll try and support it. I think.
Yeah, we got what do I got here for bets? I got someone named Adrian Kempe, top goal scorer for Sweden, 10-1, and Zabinajad, 20-1. Sweden top goal scorer. Kale Macker, 16 or 20-1. Sorry, top point scorer for the tournament. Kyle Connor, 30-1, top goal scorer for the tournament. Those were the bets we came to if people don't want to watch that show.
And I saw the Canada jersey. It's like the nicest Canada jersey they've made. If I was like a kid, I'd for sure get one, but I don't do that anymore.
So it's me, Meanie, and Jaycon breaking it all down. We recorded it on Friday. That'll be coming out later today, so keep your eye open for that, both on YouTube and on the audio feeds. Thank you all for watching. I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Mayo experience. Experience.